Okay, if I could have everybody's attention, please. If I could have everybody's attention. Okay, first of all, I guess I'd like to welcome everyone here to this Christmas/New Year's Seniors Party that's hosted jointly by the Loins and Lioness. And I hope you have an enjoyable evening. So I think we'll start now with supper. So I ask Reverend Elsie to say the grace, please.
As we come to the end of another Christmas season, God of all gifts, we thank you for the many ways you have blessed us this day. We are grateful for each of those who are gathered here tonight. We ask your blessing on the work of the members of the Lions and the Lioness Clubs who give their time and talents to the residents of this community. In our gratitude and love, we remember your humble birth into our lives and pray for those who are without enough to eat. We remember the stable in which you were born and pray for those who have no place to live. We remember your challenging message of caring and giving, and we pray for peace in families and nations throughout the world. Thank you for food in a world where many know only hunger, for faith in a world where many know fear, for friends and fellowship in a world where many know only loneliness. Bless this food we are about to share, those who have prepared it, those who serve it, and those who have worked to make today the special occasion that it is. For all of this, we give you thanks. Amen.
I'm not sure if I should better with my glasses on or off. That's the worst of it. Well, first of all, I guess what I'll do is introduce the table. So starting on my far, I'm right-handed, starting on my far left. I know some of you don't think I'm that bright, but my mom and dad always called me son. Let's see if I can see over there now. On my far left then, now that we get that straightened out, is my lovely wife Doris. Oh, okay. I should eat the table, don't look like a table, but anyway. And that's Patricia Simmons, by the way. She's the Vice President of the Lioness Club, and she'll be speaking on behalf of the Lioness later on tonight. Now we get that straightened out. And next to my lovely wife Doris, we have Reverend Elsie and her husband Levi. And see if I can get this straight now, see if I can see it on that far. Oh my God. And then we have Lion President Kelvin Dumaris. And next to Lion President we have Barbara Green. Okay, we have the oldest lady here tonight, Barbara Green. And sitting next to Barbara is our oldest gentleman here tonight, Aubrey Ann and his wife Marion. And then we have Mayor Barter and Gerald. He gave me a hard time earlier tonight, but anyway, I won't mess what it's all about. And then we have on the far end there, next to me there, on the right, is Reverend Oakes and his wife Yvette. So that, Lions and Lioness, ladies and gentlemen, is your head table. Okay, let's see what I have here now. Okay, we have our first speaker now, and that wasn't determined by me, by the way. And we have Lions President Kelvin.
I'd like to welcome you all here on behalf of the Lions Club. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and hope you enjoyed your supper and you enjoyed the cards and dance to follow. Thank you very much.
Okay, that was our Lions President Kelvin. And by the way, time bed back and that, that's when you know that Yeah, I gotta get on this now. Well, I get this off. Yes, you know when you're getting old, that's when, yes, your back goes more than you do. That's what I was trying to say. I knew there was something I knew over there with that. I get too many pieces of paper anyway, I don't need all this, I don't believe. Anyway, I guess now what I'll do is call on, yes, Loins Vice President Teresa. Have a few words. Some people call her Patricia.
On behalf of the Lioness Club, we're really honored to have all you people here tonight. We're really pleased so many people showed up. And you can tell by the lions and lionesses sitting in the back, we got some among you crowd that's 60 and over. But the ones in the back, they can't sit up here yet. So you can tell that they are honored to be here to serve you people. They came here at 1 o'clock today, and most of them did, some was working. And they came back again at 4 and 5 was latest, and they'll be here till they decide to go home and get some sleep. But anyway, on behalf of the Lions and Lionesses, I'm sure they're honored to serve you people. And we are honored to have our seniors Christmas party on usually it's January 6th, but tonight's 5th, so anyway, pretty close. So on behalf of the Lioness, I bring you greetings. I hope you all had a very Merry Christmas. And I wish you all a happy and healthy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you, Lioness Teresa. I have a couple of jokes here. I don't know if I should try to tell them or not. I'm not going to tell them. I'm going to read them off the paper because they're hot off the prison. I haven't had a chance to study them. Sugar, why don't you sit down to the table and we'll have supper, said Dorothy to her husband of 50 years. Sure thing, said her husband. No, darling, would you like your super salad first? I'll have the soup, I guess. After a meal of using terms like this to describe her husband, their guest, Bob, couldn't take it any longer. Bob snuck back into the kitchen and asked, Dorothy, do you always talk to your husband like that? Bob, to be honest to you, Dorothy replied, it's been 5 years now, and I can't remember his name, and I'm too embarrassed to ask him. Okay, with that then, I think we'll call on Mayor Bradder to bring greetings from the town.
Lions and Lioness, head table guests, and all seniors. It's not only seniors who get into trouble with bad backs and bad memories. Sarah was a new bride, a young woman. She called her mother and she was in tears. And she sobbed, Richard doesn't appreciate what I do for him. And her mother said, now, and she tried to comfort her. And she said, I'm sure it was all a misunderstanding. No, Mother, she said, you don't understand. I bought a frozen turkey roll and he yelled and screamed at me about the price. Well, nerve of that lousy cheapskate, says her mother. Those turkey rolls only cost a few dollars. No, Mother, she said, it wasn't the price of the turkey that got him upset, it was the airplane ticket. Airplane ticket, she said? What in the world did you need an airplane ticket for? Well, Mother, she said, when I went to fix the turkey, I looked at the directions on the package and it said, prepare from a frozen state. So she said, I flew to Alaska. Every day, seniors make a big difference in our community. We are mentors, teachers, grandparents, and loved ones. We are volunteers, and we're role models. And for the Lions and the Lioness, Today is an occasion to recognize seniors and the valuable contributions we have made and continue to make in our families, in our workplaces, and in our communities. So let's take the time to show our appreciation for everything they do to say thank you to us, especially because many of them are seniors too. Now I want you to note that I didn't say that we are old. I said we're seniors. Or as the poem says, we're not really old, we're just mature. And the poem goes like this. Yesterday at the drugstore, the clerk was a gent. From my purchase, this chap took off 10%. I asked for the cause of a lesser amount, and he answered, because of the seniors discount. I went to McDonald's for a burger and fries, and there once again got quite a surprise. The clerk poured some coffee, which he handed to me, and he said, for you seniors, the coffee is free. Understand we're not old, we're merely mature, but some things are changing, temporarily I'm sure. The newspaper print gets smaller each day, and people speak softer. You can't hear what they say. Our teeth are our own, we have the receipt, and our glasses identify people we meet. Oh, we've slowed down a bit, not a lot, I'm sure. You see, we're not old, we're only mature. The gold in our hair has been bleached by the sun. You should see all the damage that chlorine has done. Washing our hair will turn it all white. But don't call it gray. Saying blonde is just right. Our vehicles are all paid for, not a nickel is owed. Yet younger people might yell at us, get off the road. Our vehicles have no scratches, not even a dent. Still, we get all that guff from punks who are hell-bent. Our friends all get older much faster than we. They seem much more wrinkled, from what I can see. We've got character lines, not wrinkles, for sure. But don't call us old, just call us mature. The steps in the houses they're building today are so high that they take your breath all away. And the streets are much steeper than 10 years ago. That should explain why our walking is slow. But we're keeping up on what's hip and what's new, and I think we can still dance a mean boogaloo. We're still in the running, in this I'm secure. We're not really old, we're only mature. Or, as my friend said to me this Christmas as we reminisced about our days at university, she said, we're not old, Barbara. We are chronologically gifted. So remember two things. There's always a lot to be thankful for if you take time to look for it. Getting together every year at the beginning of the new year is one of them. And again, on behalf of the town, I bring greetings for a happy, healthy new year and thank the Lions and Lioness for their generosity. And remember, the older the fiddle, the sweeter the tune. Enjoy your party.
Thank you, Mary Berger. Couldn't have said it better myself. Before we move on to that special speaker, I have another joke that I'll share with you. The neighbors thought it was odd, but 92-year-old Morgan was dating again. One Monday morning, Morgan, I should be writing this bigger anyway, woke up with a funny feeling that something important had happened last night. It was during breakfast that he finally remembered what it was. He had proposed to his date Rita. But he couldn't remember what she answered. He picked up the phone and dialed. Hi, Rita. I have a funny question for you. Do you remember last night when I proposed? Oh my gosh, replied Rita. I'm so glad you called. I knew I said yes to somebody, but I just couldn't remember who. Anyway, we'll call on Loins Doors for a few words now.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Another Christmas season has come and is almost gone. All the hustle and bustle of getting ready for the holidays is quickly fading from our memories. For most of us, after this party tonight, Christmas will be officially over. The lights will come down, and all the color and brightness and beauty of the season will be replaced by days that are way too short and nights that are long and dark and almost always windy. So what is the magic of this season? The special something that makes all of us want to be home for Christmas. Certainly there is a commercial side to the season, but that's not what makes it special. Yes, we sometimes feel a pressure to buy things to the point that we purchase things we don't need or can't really afford. And people talk about this as if it's a negative part of the holidays, of how this is getting away from the real meaning of Christmas. I don't really buy into any of that. Most of what we buy is given to someone else, and there is a real joy in giving, and a real pleasure when a face lights up after receiving a gift. I believe this joy and pleasure is a small part of what makes the season magical. And of course, for those of us who are Christians, the miracle of the Christ child gives a real meaning to the season. Our church is steeped in tradition, and the familiar songs and the much-loved services give us a calm and steady presence in a world that is often chaotic and confusing. One might say that in itself is enough to provide the magic of the season, but I believe it extends even beyond this. Family and friends, food and drink, large happy gatherings where there is always room for one more at the table is another key to the magic of the season. The common memories that tie us together validate us as a part of something bigger and more important than we are as individuals. And in doing so, go a long way towards removing the negative feelings that are too often associated with winter. Even our language is not kind to winter. We commonly refer to it as the dead of winter. So having the Christmas holiday right at the start of the winter season gives us enough color and light and love and enthusiasm to see us through that cold, dark season ahead. So what is the magic of Christmas? It is the love and the joy. It is the friends and family. It is the smile on the faces of parents and grandparents and the excitement and sheer glee that comes with being a child. It is tradition and customs and the making of new memories to weld us together with the old. But most of all, it is hope. None of us can know what the future will bring, but that long ago birth in the manger continues to bring hope to our modern world. Christmas gives us the courage to hope that next year will be better than last, that new babies will be born and sick friends will get well. I know every day when I walk Inspiration Road, when I stroll Charlie and I show him all the trees and we talk about it, and I stop by Eva Dalamance and I tell him that that's not a tree, that's a rose bush. And in the spring, or in the summer, we'll stop and smell those roses. I don't know that we will, but I sure hope we will. And that, my friends, is the magic of Christmas.
Very well spoken. Anyway, I meant to reiterate before she came up that I didn't want her to use my entire speech, but she took every word of it. Anyway, having said that, probably some of you don't even believe it. I'll move on to my final joke, so try to bear with me. I don't know, yes, probably see it. This female business executive who was late for a meeting. She was doing 70 in a 40-kilometer zone. The cop pulls her over. "Can I see your license?" he asked. "Sorry, officer. I got it taken away 2 years ago for drunk driving." "Well, can I see the registration for your car?" She says, "I stole the car and killed the driver. He's in the trunk." "Ma'am, don't move. I'm calling back up." 5 minutes later, half the squad shows up. The chief of police walks over to the woman's window. "Ma'am, can I see your license?" he asks sternly. "Of course, officer." She smiles and pulls it from her purse. "It sure looks legitimate to me," he mumbles. "Can I see the registration for your car?" She pulls it out of the glove compartment and hands it to him, smiling. "Man, stand back." He bangs open the trunk of the car. It was completely empty. The woman points a finger at the first officer and says accusingly, "And I bet you told that lie." I'm sorry. "I bet that lawyer told you I was driving over the speed limit as well." So I guess he's... And you tell a joke and you only pull up the punchline, eh? I told you it was out after press. Anyway, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Loins and Lionesses that came in this afternoon and prepared this beautiful meal, and also for showing up tonight and serving this beautiful meal. And I think I was probably one of the first ones to get served. I was even better. Now we have the cutting of the cake by our two most senior people here tonight. I don't believe there's any more speakers, is there? No? Anybody want to come up and have a few words? No? Usually do. There's always an ample number of people ready to jump up. And probably not tonight. Well, this is an exception, I guess. Yes, we have the cutting of the cake now by the two most senior people here tonight, Mr. Ann and Mrs. Green. Okay, we'll present the gifts now to the oldest lady and the oldest gentleman here. I guess that is pretty much the end of the festivities for now. I'll ask that you, there is a dance to follow. The dance apparently is going to start at 10 tonight, so you'll know exactly when to come back if you leave. And there'll be carriage prior to the dance, so hopefully you'll have a great evening. And surely it's nice looking down and seeing all you fine looking ladies and gentlemen there, and many of you are returnees, and a few I understand is here for the first time. So hopefully that'll continue, and we'll have all you people back again in the fall when we have our next get together then. So without further ado, I ask Reverend Coates to return thanks.
I'm going to come up anyway. They call me everywhere. called oats and oats, yeah. That O was a 0, wasn't it? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And on behalf of my wife Yvette, we'd like to wish every one of you a wonderful new year. We hope 2017 that you have good health and happiness. If you have good health, then that takes us a long ways. And take time to do what you're doing today, this evening, having fellowship with family and friends. It's very important. And also take time to have fellowship with your God, because that's important as well. So I've been asked to return thanks. I enjoyed a wonderful supper. I expect you all did. We have to give thanks to the Lions and the Lioness for making this possible. It's wonderful what you do, taking time to us little older people to recognize the seniors in this town and share in this way. I know you've already got a hand, but we're going to give you another one for that delicious meal. Well, we get here because we've reached a certain number. And 60, I believe, is a magic one for this event. And we do a lot of things to try and make ourselves look younger. Getting old. Some people really get caught up in that, really get depressed because they're getting older. But as has been often said, we know many of our loved ones and friends who never had that privilege. So treasure each day. Treasure every year if you're blessed to see another year, and make the most of it. So 60 is a number, that's all. Some of you are, I expect you're older than that. No matter what your age, we do a lot of things to try and cover our age sometimes. Well, people are active, more active, that's a good thing. Help us stay young. People dressed in brighter clothing and do all these things. I've heard some people dye their hair, but they tell me it's a bit late for me. I don't know, maybe. So I can't use that one. But it's important to not let the years, the numbers, what dictates your life. I was reading the story about this elderly man who had turned 90, and they were having a party for him. And one of his buddies from years ago went up to him and he said, well, you know, congratulations, that's 90 years, that's a long time, and how are you doing? Oh, well, not too bad, you know, considering. But he said, there's one thing really bothered me. And he said, it's some lonely growing whole alone. Well, the other guy felt so bad. He said, well, I didn't hear your wife passed away. I'm so sorry. Oh, no. He said, she's still alive. And she hasn't celebrated birthday for 15 years. So we can deny it if we like, but they're coming. So treasure each one. We're blessed to be able to share with you Yvette and I. And it didn't feel that way on the Burgeo Road yesterday evening this time. My first encounter, I've been on the Burgeo Road quite a bit, as many of you know, but that's the first time I ran into that weather. And boy, I tell you, the weather's were real. But anyway, I lived in southern Labrador for 4 years, hey Calvin, so we know what that's like. So folks, it's been great to be able to share with you in this way. And I'm reminded of a young minister who just came out of college, just finished training, and he was asked to preach the sermon at this convention of ministers. Wow, now there were people there who had been ministering for years and years and years, and he was asked to do the sermon. Wow. Well, he was a bit nervous. I mean, you expect him to be. Finally, he finished. And now he's curious. I wonder how they go. I wonder how they feel about it. And he went up to this elderly minister and he said, what do you think of my sermon? Well, the old minister said, boy, he said, to be honest with you, I thought it was like the peace and mercy of God. Wow. That's some compliment, eh? He said, well, tell me, how was it like the peace and mercy of God? Well, he said, well, it was like the peace of God and that it passes all understanding. And it was like the mercy of God, I thought it would never end. So hopefully treasure. We may not always get compliments for what we do. We're blessed to have people who care for us and do what's been done here today. We're blessed to live in a town where there's peace and there is so much to be thankful for. And don't let the aches and pains and all of that destroy your life. Make the most of every day. You're special. God created you so, in His image. Treasure that specialness and use it for the glory of God. Let's pause for a brief prayer. Thank you, Lord, that we are blessed to share in this way today. We are a blessed people, for we live in a land where there is peace and there is plenty. We know there are people who are hurting, and we know that you are the God to bring healing into sick bodies and comfort into sorrowing hearts. We thank you for each person here, dear God, the young, the middle-aged, the elderly, whatever our status in life. We know that in your sight we are equal, and help us to treasure our walk with you. Bless this gathering this evening, and as they continue to fellowship together, we pray that your presence will be with them, and we will take your presence with us to guide us through the coming days. We ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Okay, thank you, Reverend Oates. That's minus the C. And so another fellow, I see he was glancing at my notes from time to time. Anyway, you have a great evening now, so take care, okay?